The final signal. James and Ethan had been inseparable since childhood. Growing up in a small town surrounded by dense woods, they spent countless hours exploring the forests, inventing secret codes, and daring each other to venture into places no one else would. As they grew older, life began to pull them in different directions, but their bond remained unbreakable. Every year, without fail, they returned to their childhood haunt, the old radio tower deep in the woods, where they had first discovered their shared love for adventure. This year was different. Ethan had been distant for weeks, barely responding to James's messages. When James finally managed to reach him, Ethan sounded strange, paranoid almost. He insisted they meet at the radio tower that night, claiming he had something urgent to show James. James arrived at the tower just as the last light of day faded. The structure loomed against the sky, a skeletal relic from another time. He climbed the rusted ladder, the familiar creaks and groans echoing in the stillness. When he reached the top, Ethan was already there, his back turned, staring out into the dark expanse of the forest. "Ethan." James called out, but his friend didn't turn. "What's going on? You've been acting weird lately." Ethan finally faced him, but something was off. His eyes, usually so full of life, were hollow, his face gaunt. "James," he began, his voice trembling, "I've been hearing things, seeing things I can't explain. It all started a few weeks ago after that storm." James frowned. "What are you talking about?" Ethan handed him a small, old-fashioned radio, one of their childhood relics. It started picking up a signal, something not from here. James took the radio, listening as static crackled through the speaker. Then, faintly, a voice emerged, distorted, barely intelligible, but unmistakably calling his name. "James, James, help me." A chill ran down James's spine. "What is this? Some kind of prank?" Ethan shook his head, panic in his eyes. "It's not a joke. I've heard it every night, getting closer, clearer. And it's not just a voice. It's something else, something that knows us." As if in response, the wind picked up, howling through the tower, and the radio's static grew louder, more aggressive. The voice repeated, "James, help me. I'm trapped." Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled, and the radio tower swayed ominously. James grabbed Ethan's arm, fear tightening his grip. "We need to get out of here." But Ethan didn't move. His gaze was fixed on something in the distance, an eerie, glowing figure slowly advancing through the trees, flickering like a faulty transmission. The voice from the radio grew deafening. "James, I'm here. I'm coming." James felt a sickening realization as the figure came into focus. It was Ethan, or something that looked like him, moving with unnatural, jerky motions. The Ethan beside him tightened his grip, pulling him closer to the edge. "Ethan, what's happening?" James shouted, but his friend's face twisted into a grim smile. "I told you, James," Ethan whispered, his voice now mirroring the one from the radio. "I'm trapped, and I need you with me." The last thing James saw before everything went black was the other Ethan reaching out to him, pulling him into the darkness. The next morning, the townspeople found the old radio tower abandoned. James and Ethan were gone, leaving behind only a broken radio, endlessly repeating the same static message. "Help me. I'm trapped."